our students deserved to have the possibility of studying Latin America from an interdisciplinary perspective.
The awesome thing about the Latin American Studies department is that it pieces together so many different disciplines. Last year I took salsa dancing, and that counted towards my major in Latin American Studies, which is awesome because that totally makes sense. And you can take anthropology and geography and ethnic studies, and as long as it relates to studying the cultures of Latin America, then it counts towards your major.
We have here on campus some of the most renowned experts in a number of fields related to Latin America, in anthropology, in political science, certainly in literature, in history, in journalism, and other fields. It's a very rich and solid group of faculty that have a lot to offer to our students.
And I remember freshman year I took a class called The Political Economy of Latin America. And it was super interesting because I not only studied the political part, the economy of Latin America, but I studied the history of Latin America. And so I became really interested. That's when I decided I wanted to pursue a Latin American Studies major.
So it's a very rich region, and we, through our coursework, we give students this kind of enhanced education that will enhance any other areas or fields of study that they may be coming from.
You know, I wanted to major in French, but I also wanted to take on a Spanish minor to work on my writing skills. And then I took, as part of the minor, history course, History 381, which was Latin American history. Once we got to Mexico during this class, and Cuba, which were the two focal countries that really, really interested me in their history, their culture, obviously. Being Mexican, I wanted to continue, so I took on the major, and ever since then I've just loved it.
Diversity is one of the most important elements we need to take into account when approaching Latin America. At the same time, we need to convey the notion that despite this diversity, there are some commonalities that help us conceive the region as a totality with shared problems and historical trajectories.
I love learning history, especially the way Latin America has developed and why it is the way it is. You know, knowing your own history, knowing where you come from, why things are the way they are, and you know, just the general situation of the world or this hemisphere is an important thing to me. My father is Mexican. He was an immigrant from Mexico, so I was born and raised here in Oregon, but I've always had my a Mexican culture influence.
To be a global citizen and to open your horizons as a professional or as a scholar, if you have Latin American studies on, in your belt, that's another thing that as a student you can use when you exit or when you graduate from the University of Oregon. And with that, you can work not only in the United States, but you can work abroad if you have knowledge of Latin America as a region, as a cultural site. The language, if you not only do Latin American studies, but let's say you also get a minor or a major in Spanish or Portuguese, then you have like a great combination, right? You have Latin American, then you have the language to work globally.
I myself am from Mexico, from Cananea, Sonora, and so I have part of that experience of studying abroad and actually turning studying abroad into my life abroad, now living here in the US. And when it comes to the work that our office does with students, for students, we try to find and design and create opportunities that will work with their wide range of interests, of career goals, of academic priorities. And for Latin American studies majors and minors, they can each have very unique interests, from wanting to learn the language and being in a program where they can learn second year, third year advanced level courses in Portuguese or in Spanish. Or they might want to have an internship, a professional opportunity where they can work for 40 hours a week. We also have programs where students can do research or go with a faculty leader.
So I lived in Peru, and that was just the beginning, and I was starting to piece together the language and the culture. I have what I consider family in Lima, in Cusco, in Mexico, in Honduras, and I still talk to these people on a daily basis.
So the combination of diversity and unity, diversity and commonality is one of the challenges we face when teaching about Latin America, but it's also one of the most productive ways in which we can convey to our students the importance and the wealth of information that Latin America contains.
So that has been really great, that they push me not only to do what I need to do, but out of my comfort zone. So that's why I felt really comfortable with Latin American Studies as my major and as a department, because they are really easy to work with and they push you to get more and more experiences out there.
My invitation is for students to join us in this learning adventure from which they will come out much better informed about one of the most fascinating, exciting, and interesting regions of the world.